Love having Uncle Jimbo on. Joining me now, the man who is still trying to get me to try the reverse sear, which I have not even tried yet, and a man with a great new book coming out, Jim Hansen, former Green Beret. Jim, How to Win the Second War? Your book's titled Winning the Second Civil War Without Firing a Shot. What Civil War are you talking about?
The one the left's winning right now.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I wrote the book because I'm worried. You know, they've been going on. I mean, we had a kind of a long simmering Cold War between the left and right for decades now. But ever since Obama decided that it was time to empower the activists on his team, you know, and he started pushing BLM and the rest of these guys, telling them they were right, the left's been going crazy, and they're making huge, huge inroads against us. So I got a battle plan for us to start fighting back and winning without actually having to have a revolution.
Okay, people, obviously I'm going to want them to get the book, but give us something. What? So we have a chance? Let's start there. We have a chance in the Second Civil War?
Remember one thing. Even in the 2020 election, as bad as it was, we still picked up 12 seats in the House. Now, that tells you one thing. America doesn't like the left. As a matter of fact, they're scared of them. There was a lot of anti-Trump sentiment. You know, I mean, for what he is, he polarizes people, love him or hate him. So the 2020 election was about Trump. It was not about people saying we want Democrat ideas. So we got to fix some election rules. We got work to do, but we are far from beaten. We're on the comeback path.
I have said I feel like the country is separating. I feel like it's doing it naturally. I feel like it should do that. What do you feel about that? I just think people are moving. People either want to live in Florida or they want to live in New York, and there aren't many people who want to live in between.
Good. You know, there's a reason we formed a federal republic, not a democracy. That's so people could sort themselves based on the values they believe in, the things they like, the people they want to be around. And guess what? I don't want to be around liberals. You know, I used to be fine with them. I lived in Madison, Wisconsin. You know, and I would proudly hang out as the only conservative most of those people knew, and we would argue. And in the end, we could agree to disagree. Well, they stopped that. They became intolerant, and they can no longer deal with people who disagree with their secular religion of wokeness. So if we don't want to live together, who cares? We can have separate states, and, you know, they can have the crappy ones, and we'll take the cool ones.
Why did they become intolerant? What happened there?
It's been a long thing. You know, it's the socialism is the problem. You know, they believe the state should control the people because the people don't make the decisions that they think they should. So we do things like drive cars and eat steaks and live well and shoot guns and have cool lives. And they don't want that. They want us to do what the state says and live in our little boxes, you know, and basically have our lives laid out for us by the smart people who tell us what to do. And that's un-American. So they've been doing it, though, by taking over our education system. They took over our popular culture, you know, and they own the permanent bureaucracy of government. So all of those things make it easy to add that control. But our Constitution is still supreme, and we still have at least a 5-4 majority of the Supreme Court. So we're far from beat, and it's time to start pounding them back.
Jim, tell me how we put any kind of a band back together when half the country hates the country. I just don't see that as being something fixable. I don't see it as something being winnable. I just think we should divorce.
I probably wouldn't be against that, but I think it's too complicated. And I think in the end, I think they're beatable in a way, or at least we can beat them into submission. You know, they've been winning and they've been unopposed at home. We were focused on national security, you know, defeating the Soviet Union, winning the Cold War, that kind of stuff, fighting terrorism. And while we were doing that, they were doing all of their insinuating into all of our culture and society and institutions. Well, if we focus our energy on that, if we pay attention, you know, if we do things like refuse to have our kids in schools that tell them America is awful, you know, we make TV programs and movies that show the good side of America. We're better at anything we decide to do than they are. We just haven't been focused on the home front. So I'm not as you know, pessimistic about that as you are, but it's not going to be easy. So I got no illusions about how hard this is going to be. It's going to be a hard fight, but it's worth it.
What's the plan for the schools, Jim? What is the plan for, forgetting about schools, because you know I hate them anyway, what is the plan for the education of the next generation of Americans? How do we take that back?
I think it's already started to happen in that we just forget about liberal academia. You know, the university system is a cesspool and a wasteland. So ignore it for now. And what we need to do, if we do one smart thing, we start building vocational technical programs for information technology workers. That's the jobs of the future. And there's no reason for those people to go get woke indoctrination from the left at universities. Let's take them and bring them into our side, the Mike Rowe side, you know, the dirty jobs, and make them normal Americans. So they skip the wokeness, they learn the information technology jobs, and we build a parallel education system, you know, that lets our kids go to school and learn something useful for their lives and their jobs, not just be turned into mindless leftist zombies.
Speaking with Jim Hansen, author of the book Winning the Second Civil War. Jim, when it comes to universities, I've been echoing what you just said about get them out of take them to tech schools, take them to trade schools. But these universities are still a destination in the minds of so many Americans on the left and the right, just from tradition. You know, people want to brag, oh, my little Billy got into college. Sarah got into college. I'm so proud of her. How do we change that mindset? Because I think that mindset has to die.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. It's the idea, I call them the credentialed elite. They're not elite in any way other than they have a credential that says so. And we need to change that mindset. Now, that's an information war. And, okay, we're not the best at that. You know, that's not our specialty, but we haven't tried. You know, so what we need to do is point out that it's not the credential you have. What are you doing with it? You know, if you went to Harvard and you walked out of there with some sort of intersectional gender studies degree, who cares if you went to Harvard? That's not impressive. What are you doing? And so we need to make the outcome the important thing, not the process. Going to college is nothing. Going to school is just a means to an end. What is the end? What are you doing? Do you run a business? Do you employ people? Are you a productive member of society, or are you a looter and moocher and parasite member of the left? And let's demonize what they now have as their big thing. It's supposed to be cool to be that. Let's make it the parasite class.
What do we do about entertainment? You mentioned we're better at it than them, but they own it all. And in fact, our actors and actresses, who sadly do matter, the ones who think like you and I, are scared to speak out because they get slaughtered if they do.
And that's a place where we're starting, at least, to make a few inroads. And it's good. That's going to be a long battle, dude, because that's where they're strongest. And as Breitbart said, politics is downstream of culture. But I don't know if you saw that movie out of the Daily Wire, Run, Hide, Fight, about the school shooting. Have you seen that?
I've not seen the movie. I saw that it's out. I know they put one out. I just haven't seen the movie yet.
Brother, watch the movie, and everybody listening to this, watch that movie. It is a great action flick. Not a great by a conservative action flick. A great action flick. The school shooting where the incels and the anarchists go in and start taking over and killing people. And there's a girl whose dad's a vet and who taught her the right ways, who kicks their ass. Dude, it'll make you feel good. So and it's exciting, and it kept me and my wife on the edge of our seats, dude. Oh. So there is hope. Right. It is not the only. Dinesh D'Souza made Infidel, another good movie. So I mean, we got a long way to go, but at least the fact that we're fighting back gives us hope, and you just got to reinforce the people who have the guts to try.
Jim Hansen, author of the book Winning the Second Civil War. Thank you so much, my brother.
Always a pleasure, Jesse.